Welcome to the deep dive. You sent us a fascinating source this time, a YouTube video putting a whole range of tech and, well, other products from popular creators through the ringer.
Yeah, quite a mix.
From gadgets dreamed up by channels with, over 1 million subscribers to offerings from internet giants with over 50 million.
Huge range.
So our mission today is to dissect these reviews, pull out the crucial insights, and see what happens when online fame meets the world of physical products.
It's quite the spectrum we're looking at, and the reviewer promised brutal honesty.
Yeah, I saw that.
And the introduction of a rating board, even a Hall of Famer, it sort of suggests they weren't holding back.
Definitely.
We've got everything from smartphone accessories to, science kits, even pizza sauce.
Pizza sauce, right.
So it's a unique chance to see which creators have managed to translate their online success into, compelling physical products, and maybe where things fell a bit short.
Okay, let's kick things off then. Let's unpack this with a product from two major tech reviewers. Mr. Mobile, he's got a strong following.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the even larger Megan Who's a Boss, who actually did the review we're diving into.
Right.
Their collaboration resulted in the Clicks smartphone keyboard for iPhones.
Yeah.
Now, the initial reaction seems to have been, well, surprise at its sheer bulk.
Yeah. It apparently adds significant heft to your phone.
Right. Comparisons to the already lengthy iPhone 5. You almost wonder if fitting it in your pocket, especially like women's jeans, becomes a real challenge.
That's a good point.
So it seems like balancing that new functionality with just everyday practicality is a major hurdle, isn't it?
Absolutely. While the idea of a physical keyboard might bring back, nostalgia or seem like a productivity boost.
Yeah, for some people.
The trade-offs in terms of size and convenience, those become immediate practical concerns. The reviewer also noted issues with finicky wireless charging.
Oh, really?
And a less than perfect MagSafe connection, even if it technically worked,
Seamless integration is key for everyday tech, right? And these points suggest some friction there.
Definitely friction in the user experience.
And what about the core purpose, the typing itself? It's described as having that classic BlackBerry feel.
Right.
Which makes sense, I guess, given a BlackBerry Bold designer was involved.
Yeah, that tracks.
But the reviewer, personally, admitted it just reminded him why he prefers virtual keyboards these days.
Okay.
While acknowledging that with practice, typing speed might get close to a virtual keyboard.
Might.
The inherent resistance of physical keys likely means it will never truly surpass it. But isn't there like a dedicated niche of users who might prioritize that physical keyboard above all else, even with the bulk?
That's a valid point, yeah. For users with specific needs, maybe accessibility, or just those who really prefer tactile feedback, the trade-offs might be acceptable.
True.
However, the reviewer also highlighted an unexpected ergonomic issue. The added weight and the way you have to hold the phone with the keyboard, it can create this uncomfortable tipping force.
Oh, interesting. Didn't think about that. It wasn't a complete wash, though, was it?
No, not entirely.
The Clicks keyboard does offer a backlight, allows the phone to charge while you're using it,
Useful features.
and crucially, frees up the entire screen since the keyboard is hardware. So there are definitely some potential benefits for the right user.
For sure.
However, for this particular reviewer, the downsides outweigh the positives, which led to a rather low rating of 4 out of 10.
Yeah, 4 out of 10. That score really underscores the challenges, doesn't it? Translating that online persona into a successful physical product.
It really does.
Exactly. Even with some clever features, those fundamental design choices and practical drawbacks can just really impact the overall reversion. It highlights that understanding your target audience's daily needs and habits is crucial when you step outside the digital world.
Okay, shifting gears dramatically now. Let's move from bulky phone accessories to a surprisingly simple solution for, well, a pretty common problem.
Oh.
We're talking about the reverse 3D glasses from Hank Green. The OG YouTuber, makes science super engaging. SciShow, Vlogbrothers.
Oh yeah, Hank Green. Legends.
These glasses offer a straightforward fix, converting those sometimes headache-inducing 3D movies back into standard 2D.
And the tech behind it is ingenious in its simplicity.
How does it work?
Well, 3D films project two slightly different images, right? These glasses essentially just block one of those images from reaching each eye. So, poof, no more 3D effect.
Simple as that.
And what's fascinating here is the origin story. Hank apparently created these way back in 2010 so he and his wife could watch Tron Legacy in 3D without her getting headaches.
Wow, talk about necessity being the mother of invention.
Totally.
Yeah.
It just highlights the power of identifying a specific, maybe underserved need, and then developing a simple but really effective solution.
And the reviewer confirmed they work perfectly?
Yep, tested on a 2014 3D TV, apparently. Complete conversion, no blurriness.
Nice.
They expressed real respect for Hank identifying this issue and creating such a usable and, importantly, affordable product. Only $10.
$10, that's great. This one earned a solid 8 out of 10. The low cost must really help its appeal.
Absolutely. Accessibility often plays a huge role in a product's success, offering a simple fix at a reasonable price. Hank Green nailed it. It's a great example of a creator using their platform for something genuinely helpful without overcomplicating things.
Couldn't agree more. Okay, next up we have Simone Giertz, the wonderfully eccentric inventor, best known for turning her Tesla into a pickup truck, among other things.
Yes, the queen of shitty robots, although her company, Yetch, clever name, by the way, phonetic spelling of Geertz.
It is clever. Yetch brought us the goal calendar, originally for her own daily meditation habit.
Right.
But it resonated so strongly it ended up on Kickstarter.
What's interesting about the goal calendar is its really tactile approach to habit tracking, especially in our super digital world.
How does it work exactly?
It's a physical device. You tap the date after you complete your chosen daily habit, and that date then lights up. So it gives you this very visual, year-long overview of your progress. The reviewer mentioned the contract, the satisfaction of seeing a full year lit up versus the slight disappointment of a missed day.
Yeah, I can see that. It's like a gym habit tracker, but as they said, maybe more seamless, more tech integrated.
Exactly, but still physical.
Indeed. We're talking adjustable brightness, even 24-karat gold-plated capacitive touchpads.
Which the reviewer playfully called overkill for such a basic function.
Totally overkill.
Right.
It even saves your progress if the power goes out. But this raises a question about value, right? The core function is simple. Do these premium materials and extra features justify the cost and the potential overkill?
That's the crux of it, isn't it? An app could do the same tracking, but the physical presence, the premium feel, that elevates the goal calendar. The reviewer called it the best of the best non-app habit tracker. Suggesting that for some people, that tangible nature, the lack of digital distractions, it's worth the extra investment. Though their suggestion for more satisfying physical keys instead of touch plates, that's also a fair point about user experience.
Yeah, I could see wanting a clicky button. Despite that minor point, the goal calendar also got a strong 8 out of 10.
Another 8. Seems there's a real appeal in having a dedicated non-digital tool for something like habit tracking.
Definitely.
Precisely. In an era of just constant notifications and distractions, a dedicated physical object can offer a more focused, maybe more mindful approach to personal goals.
Right, okay. Let's venture into the passionate world of fandom now. Theory sabers from Star Wars Theory.
Lightsabers.
Anyone who follows the Star Wars YouTube community knows authentic-looking replicas can cost a fortune.
Oh, yeah. Serious money.
Theory sabers aim to offer a more accessible alternative. For those maybe not deep in Star Wars lore, kyber crystals. They're basically the lightsaber's power source, affects the color and energy.
Got it. So the Fallen Knight model, that was the focus. Replica of Anakin Skywalker's saber with exposed kyber crystals.
That's the one. Initial impressions were apparently very positive. The reviewer praised its responsiveness to both big swings and, subtle movements, thanks to the dual kyber crystals inside.
Nice. Red and blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the attention to detail, like a specific cutout matching something from the films, that clearly resonated with fans.
The little details matter to fans.
And here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
This saber even has a character switching feature.
Oh, wow.
Select Darth Sidious, and the blade color and sound effects change. The impact sounds were also highlighted as satisfyingly responsive.
Sounds pretty cool, actually. But...
I sense a but coming.
But. This deep dive took a rather unexpected turn when the reviewer did some digging into manufacturing.
Uh-oh. Okay. Indeed. It was revealed that Theory Sabers isn't actually manufacturing these lightsabers themselves.
Really?
Instead, they're buying them from a Chinese company, TXQ, I think it was.
Yeah. Adding their own packaging and sound design, including custom sound fonts, to be fair, and then reselling them at roughly double the price.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so the lack of transparency about where the actual saber comes from, that's a big deal.
It's a significant point, yeah. because many customers, it seems, believe they were directly supporting a creator who was designing and building these.
Right, that changes the perception completely.
This revelation about the true manufacturing process led to a rating of 5 out of 10, or as the reviewer Riley put it, in theory.
Okay, it really highlights the importance of authenticity and just clear communication between creators and their audience, especially with physical products.
Absolutely. This situation just underscores the trust that audiences place in their favorite creators. When that trust is, well, perceived to be undermined by a lack of transparency, it can seriously impact the perceived value and ultimately how the product is received.
Yeah, trust is everything there. Okay, let's pivot now to something completely different. The J-Laser Video web shooter.
Web shooter. Okay.
J-Laser Video is known for building real-life versions of sci-fi gadgets, especially Spider-Man's web shooters. The product reviewed was a commercially available, downsized, and presumably safer version.
Makes sense. The mechanism is spring-powered, launching like a magnet or a suction cup on a string.
Gotcha.
And it has a rechargeable motor to reel it back in.
Did it work?
The reviewer successfully grabbed a snack with it and even tried to close a laptop. Apparently, the sticky pad had a surprisingly high success rate.
That's hilarious. So it's basically positioned as a fun toy.
Yeah.
Right, maybe for cosplay.
Yeah, exactly. A fun toy may be great for cosplay enthusiasts.
It seems like a successful translation of a fantasy idea into something tangible, even if it's smaller scale. And up to this point in the review, the overall quality of YouTuber products seemed, well, generally positive.
Yeah, it demonstrates the appeal of bringing those imaginative concepts into the real world. While it's fundamentally a toy, the functionality and the recorded reliability suggest it's pretty well executed for what it is.
All right, moving on. We have a product from Jerry Rig Everything, the Tech Teardown Master.
Ah, Zach Nelson.
He has a well-documented love for simple, reliable razor blade utility knives. And apparently, unsatisfied with what was out there, he decided to make his own.
His reasoning was pretty straightforward. Existing options were either too cheap and flimsy or too bulky and plasticky.
Makes sense.
So his utility knife, simple packaging, affordable price, often under $20, sometimes even under $10 on sale.
Nice.
It's compatible with standard utility blades, includes a few to start. And yes, it passed the crucial paper test for sharpness.
Good old paper test. The reviewer liked its compact size, the secure spring mechanism keeping the blade closed or open.
Yeah, and the locking mechanism when it's open. Seems the innovation here is really in the handle design since the blades themselves are standardized.
Right. But there's a significant flaw identified.
Yeah, pretty big one. The maneuver required to actually close the knife was described as awkward and potentially dangerous. Could put your fingers at risk.
Oof. That's not good for a utility knife.
No, that's a crucial consideration for any tool, especially a sharp one.
That safety concern ultimately brought the Jerry Rig Everything utility knife down to a 6.5 out of 10.
Yeah, even with a well-designed handle and good price, a fundamental safety issue like that is hard to ignore. It really highlights that user experience and safety are just paramount, even in seemingly simple tools.
Absolutely.
Exactly. A design oversight in a critical function can just negate otherwise positive attributes. It's a reminder that thorough testing, considering all aspects of how someone will actually use it, is essential.
Okay, now let's delve into a product that generated, well, significant hype, followed by considerable backlash. The Anarch smartwatch from TechBurner.
Ah, yes, the Indian tech YouTuber. Very popular.
The announcement video got huge positive attention, apparently, but the actual product release met with significant criticism.
Right. The reviewer's initial impression of the hardware design was actually quite positive, described it as distinctive, having a premium feel.
Oh, okay, so what was the problem?
The software experience. Stark contrast. It appeared to be a somewhat unpolished, maybe just reskinned version of existing Chinese smartwatch software.
Yeah.
And it's important to remember the price point here, much lower than, say, an Apple Watch. And just the inherent challenges for a content creator entering the complex world of smartwatch manufacturing.
Absolutely. Competing in that established tech market, even with a huge audience, it's a massive undertaking. And the core function of the smartwatch, the tracking, that's where the Anarch reportedly struggled.
Precisely. Activity tracking, especially heart rate monitoring, was found to be noticeably inaccurate compared to an Apple Watch.
Not good.
Similarly, sleep tracking gave unreliable data, big differences compared to other devices. The reviewer also pointed out other things, like a clanging metal sound and the screen being way too bright at night.
Little things that add up.
Yeah. While acknowledging the ambition behind it, the reviewer ultimately concluded, not this time. but did suggest potential for improvement in, like, a Gen 2 product.
Right. It really underscores the immense difficulty in delivering a competitive tech product, even with that initial creator buzz.
It serves as a reminder, doesn't it? Audience trust and excitement can generate initial sales, sure. But the long-term success of a tech product, that hinges on its core performance, reliability, and just the overall user experience.
Well said. Okay, on a completely different wavelength now. Hacksmith Industries,
The guys who build the crazy stuff?
renowned for their over-the-top functional recreations of fictional gadgets. They took on the iconic lightsaber, their version, described as a miniaturized but very real $99 blowtorch.
A $99 blowtorch lightsaber. Okay. The packaging cleverly doubles as a display stand, apparently. And their claim of world's first lightsaber is a nice little nod to the fans.
Yeah, fan service. The construction is entirely metal, gives it a premium feel. It's an interesting contrast to theory sabers, isn't it?
Totally. Hacksmith went for a functional, small-scale interpretation. Theory aimed for that full-size replica with effects.
And this Hacksmith thing sounds genuinely impressive. Not just a flimsy toy, described as surprisingly high quality.
And the coolest feature.
Color-changing inserts. You add them to the burn, and they introduce salt crystals that mimic the look of kyber crystals in the flame.
Whoa, that's clever.
They even showed a bright green flame. Plus, the retraction mechanism is surprisingly fast.
So practical uses are probably limited to, what, lighting candles, impressing friends?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But the product delivers on its core concept impressively well, without huge compromises. Even the fact that the color inserts don't last long and cost extra didn't seem to detract too much.
So what was the rating?
That positive assessment earned the Hacksmith lightsaber a 9 out of 10, highest rated so far.
A 9. Wow. It seems focusing on a unique functional concept, even if it's niche, can be a winning formula.
Looks like it.
It demonstrates that sometimes a more focused, maybe more technically achievable concept can lead to a more satisfying and highly rated product than trying for a complex replica that might hit manufacturing or ethical bumps.
Good point. Now brace yourselves for a culinary creation. Arak, massive subscriber base.
Iraq, yeah.
He released a sauce that boldly claims to turn anything into pizza.
Bold claim.
The reviewer even got a personal delivery, which added a unique touch.
Nice. The unboxing was memorable too, apparently.
Yeah.
Included not just the sauce, but also dried pineapple chunks and a box of insects.
Insects, okay.
Oh.
The intended use case seems to be for those times you crave pizza but don't want to make or order one.
Right, the quick fix idea.
The taste test had some interesting results. On plain toast, the sauce was well received, rich, indulgent, got maybe 85% of the way to pizza flavor.
Okay, not bad on toast.
But pizza sauce on a dried pineapple chunk, deemed a weird combination, only about 50% as good as actual pizza.
Can't say I'm surprised there.
And on cauliflower, apparently it just tasted like salty seasoning.
So the conclusion was?
The reviewer concluded the marketing was clever, but maybe a little misleading. The sauce is essentially a good quality marinara with a subtle cheesy flavor, probably from inactive yeast.
Ugh, nutritional yeast. Gives that cheesy tang.
Right. The comparison to clickbait thumbnails with good underlying video content is quite apt, they thought.
That's a good analogy.
So while it's a decent sauce on its own, the pretty high price, $25 for 2 bottles, brought the rating down to a saucy 7 out of 10.
A 7. Okay. It seems sometimes the online persona and the hype create expectations the physical product might not fully meet, even if the product itself is reasonably good.
Exactly that.
Precisely. Marketing generates buzz, but ultimately, the product has to stand on its own quality, function, value for money.
Okay, next, a product from a true titan of tech YouTube, Linus Tech Tips.
No, TT.
And what's arguably his most impactful product, the Linus Tech Tips screwdriver.
Ah, the screwdriver.
Yes, this wasn't some quick cash-in. It was a 3-year development process, hundreds of thousands of dollars invested.
And what's particularly noteworthy here is the strategic approach. Linus collaborated with MegaPro, a screwdriver company he clearly admired.
Smart move.
Yeah, instead of trying to do everything from scratch, it allowed him to leverage existing expertise. And crucially, he didn't just slap his logo on something, he meticulously tweaked everything based on his huge experience as a tech reviewer.
So what's it like?
The result is a screwdriver with a substantial, grippy handle, secure internal bit storage. A strong magnetic tip holds bits and catches dropped screws.
Oh, the magnetic tip is clutch.
Totally. And what the reviewer described as pristine haptics. Just the feel of using it.
Wow.
It was declared an elite tier YouTuber product, not just for the effort, but for that smart collaboration and the level of refinement.
This really shows how leveraging existing industry expertise and focusing on iterative improvement based on user needs can lead to something exceptional.
Absolutely. By partnering with a company already established in making screwdrivers, LTT could focus on those finer details of design and user experience that just elevate it.
And the rating reflects that. A near-perfect 9.5 out of 10.
9.5.
Earning it a well-deserved spot in the Reviewers' Hall of Fame. It seems identifying a core need and just executing it flawlessly through smart collaboration is a winning strategy.
Absolutely. The LT2 screwdriver is just a prime example of how a creator's unique insights combined with established manufacturing skill can yield outstanding results in the physical product world.
Okay, stepping away from tech for a moment.
Yeah.
Joyride Candy from Ryan Tran.
Ryan Tran, yeah. Huge following, nearing 20 million subs.
This product ventures into healthier snacking, marketed with claims like no fake colors, no junk, just 4G of sugar.
Okay. The reviewer, who apparently likes Ryan Tran's content but is also health conscious, approached this with some scrutiny. They tried the watermelon wedge flavor, noted a slightly sticky texture, flavor less intense than expected, but not necessarily bad.
And the sweeteners, that's not just sugar.
Right. It's a blend of sugar, allulose, and stevia. Allulose and stevia are both naturally occurring, low or zero calorie, don't usually spike blood glucose much. However, the reviewer did detect a hint of that characteristic stevia aftertaste, even with the allulose in there.
Ah, the stevia aftertaste. Some people really notice that.
Yeah. While ultimately enjoying the product, the reviewer suggested a slight marketing tweak. Maybe change no junk to less junk for more accuracy. Because, it's still candy.
Fair point. And the cost.
Relatively high, $5 a bag apparently. That likely factored into the assessment too.
Joyride Candy ultimately received a rating of 6.5 out of 10.
6.5.
Okay.
It seems navigating that healthy label in snacks requires a delicate balance. Formulation, transparent marketing, and just realistic consumer expectations.
Definitely.
Exactly. Offering healthier alternatives is great, but clear, nuanced communication about ingredients and processing is crucial for building and keeping consumer trust.
Okay, now let's discuss an app that generated quite a bit of online chatter, both good and bad. Panel's wallpaper app from Marks Brownlee, MKBHD.
MKBHD's app. Yeah, I remember the launch. Late 2024, there was some backlash about price, privacy concerns, maybe just the general demand for a wallpaper app from him.
Right. So this review specifically aimed to reassess the app after updates. The initial worries about permission seem to have been addressed.
Yeah, apparently it now requests what seems like a base minimum. Users can also pick 5 favorite artists for some personalization. The UI itself got praised, well-organized, nice animations, which isn't always common for wallpaper apps.
Okay. But there are paid collections, right?
Yep, optional paid collections. Some priced quite steeply, like $7.99 for just 4 similar images, though the money is split with the artists, which is good.
That's fair. What about the free stuff?
The standard download resolution for free wallpapers is limited to 1080p, which might not be ideal for modern high-res phone screens, could look stretched or pixelated.
Yeah. So how do you get higher resolution?
Options. $2 a month for standard wallpapers, $12 a month, or $50 a year for everything, including collections. Or you can watch a pretty long 30-plus second full-screen ad for one high-res download.
Ah, the ad option. Okay, so the verdict.
Well, while the monetization isn't perfect, the reviewer concluded the interface is slick, wallpaper quality is high, and it doesn't feel overly predatory anymore after the updates.
So the rating.
The solid 6 out of 10. Acknowledging the improvements made based on that initial feedback.
It really shows how crucial it is for creators to listen to their audience and be willing to improve based on input.
Indeed. That ability to adapt and address user concerns is just a hallmark of successful product development, especially with software and digital services that are always evolving.
Okay, for a complete change of pace again, the intriguing world of the Curiosity Box from Vsauce.
Vsauce. Hey, Vsauce, Michael here. Love those videos. Always make you think.
Exactly. So this is an educational science toy subscription box.
Yeah.
Also includes video lessons from Michael himself.
Okay. The initial impression of the box was quite positive, apparently. Diverse range of uniquely presented contents, even a t-shirt.
But the risk with any subscription box, especially educational toys, is do they provide lasting value? Or is it just fun for 5 minutes?
That's the question. Some of the contents in the reviewed box included MGS-1 simulated Martian soil used by NASA,
Wow, okay.
.67 shadow alphabet shapes for creating negative space letters, picture pie stenciled discs for intricate drawings, a T-shirt with an amphenol knot,
A whatnot.
amphenol knot, and a why not knot book with rope.
Okay, definitely sounds complex and nerdy.
Yeah, the reviewer described it as incredibly complex and nerdy, but appealing to those with a strong sense of curiosity who like thinking outside the box.
What?
But the high cost, $60 per box, was noted, and the practical applicability of some skills learned or the longevity of interest in some items was questioned. Potential for some things to just become clutter.
Yeah, I can see that happening with subscription boxes. So the rating,
The Curiosity Box received a 7 out of 10.
a 7.
Seems while the concept is strong and caters to a specific audience, that value proposition versus the cost might be a big consideration. It highlights the challenge of balancing educational content and engaging activities with the price and the perceived long-term value in a subscription model.
Makes sense.
Precisely. Engaging an audience with physical objects that encourage learning is great, but perceived value and sustained engagement are critical for long-term success.
Right. Next up, the leader case from Unbox Therapy.
Ah, Lou. Known for unboxing and, yes, infamously bending iPhones.
Back in 2019, they claimed they'd never found a phone case that truly satisfied them, so they created their own company.
Right. The later case's main selling point is its construction. Premium Kevlar aramid fibers, promising thinness and strength.
And the impression?
Immediate impression was indeed extreme thinness, a distinct feel. The matte texture and ease of slipping it on and off were also praised.
Okay, sounds good so far.
Yeah. But it didn't immediately achieve goated status, as they say. Reviewer noted issues like needing infrequent removal, maybe a minor point, slightly gappy sides.
Gappy sides aren't great.
No. And a camera cutout design some might find resembles a fidget spinner. Also, the lack of magnets reportedly weakened MagSafe functionality.
Oh, no magnets. That's a big deal for MagSafe.
Yeah. And scratch resistance was found to be rather poor, level 4 apparently.
Not very durable then. What about drop protection?
The drop test showed the phone itself was protected, minor markings only, but the later case itself sustained more noticeable damage. So while it fulfills the basic function protection in a slim form factor, nice texture, the $60 price point raises questions compared to potentially more durable or feature-rich alternatives.
$60 is steep for a case with those drawbacks. So the rating?
The later case got a 5 out of 10, with the reviewer suggesting it could have been a greater case.
Oh, okay. Seems the focus on extreme thinness might have compromised other important things like scratch resistance and MagSafe. Really shows the trade-offs in product design.
Exactly. Often, prioritizing one design element means compromises elsewhere. Finding that right balance for various user needs is just a constant challenge.
Okay, finally, we arrive at the Crunch Labs disk launcher from Mark Rober.
Mark Rober, ex-NASA engineer known for those huge science projects, and his Crunch Labs subscription box focusing on STEM concepts.
Right. The box contains a single buildable project, this disk launcher. Feedback from the reviewer's team member who built it was very positive. Fun, relatively quick build.
And it's worth noting Crunch Labs has 2 box types, right? Build box for younger kids and a hack pack for older kids adults with more complex projects.
Gotcha. How was the launcher itself?
The accuracy was described as phenomenal.
Really?
Yeah. It manages to keep a sort of homemade feel but deliver impressive, almost pre-engineered performance. The entire process, from website design, clear instructions explaining the why, dedicated videos from Mark Rober, it all seems exceptionally well thought out.
That sounds great.
And comparing it to the Vsauce box, which had variety but a higher price, Crunch Labs focuses on one well-designed, engaging project for a more accessible $25.
So better value, maybe.
Based on this experience, it earned a strong 9 out of 10.
Another 9.
Yeah. Seems focusing on a single, high-quality educational experience can be a very effective approach for a subscription box.
Absolutely. That emphasis on hands-on learning, clear explanations of the science, and the personal touch from Mark Rober himself seems like key differentiators for Crunch Labs. Contributes to that positive reception.
Agreed. Now, before we conclude, the review also touched on VPNs, right? A product category YouTubers promote a lot.
Oh yeah, VPNs everywhere.
Surfshark, which sponsors the video, was directly compared to ExpressVPN.
Okay, how did they stack up?
The comparison showed Surfshark is significantly cheaper. Starts around $2 a month versus ExpressVPN starting at $5.
Big difference.
And Surfshark also showed considerably faster connection speeds in their test, both connected to Morocco.
Speed matters for VPNs.
Definitely. The reviewer also pointed out Surfshark offers unlimited users per subscription, while Express VPN limits you to 8. And Surfshark includes extras like antivirus, data breach alerts.
Seems like a clear winner in that comparison. Listeners were directed to surfshark.com/com.
Yep. It highlights the value of independent testing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Creator endorsements might not always align perfectly with objective performance like speed and cost.
Very true. It's a useful reminder for consumers to look beyond just the endorsement and check independent reviews and comparisons when deciding on online services.
Definitely.
So there you have it, a deep dive into a fascinating array of products from some of the internet's biggest personalities. We've seen some real successes, some interesting attempts, and a few that maybe didn't quite live up to the hype.
And our Hall of Fame inductee, the Linus Tech Tips screwdriver, really stands out. A prime example of thoughtful design, smart collaboration, and just commitment to quality.
For sure. As you reflect on the journey these creators took, bringing ideas into the physical world, maybe consider this. What truly makes a successful product from content creator? Does that inherent trust and connection they have with their audience give them an unfair advantage? Or is it just a starting point they need to build on with a genuinely compelling, well-executed product?
That's a great question. Does the audience trust play an unfair advantage, or is it just an expected part of the equation, something to mull over?
Definitely something to think about until our next deep dive.